You are indeed mistaken if you think the internet is innocent. If you look deep enough, you will uncover dark secrets that should not be on this platform. I have brought them here for us to watch today, but please make sure you stick to the end because it gets dark and twisted. With that being said, let's get into it.
Grande might have accidentally revealed the secrets about celebrities dyeing their hair blonde.
Oh, is it call for help?
Close.
Oh, okay.
Close.
Yeah?
Call for help.
Usually when people start blowing up, they
go
dye
blonde.
their hair blonde.
Yeah.
Because they
Ariana
sold their soul?
Grande, she was actually on the red carpet and she kind of made a joke. I don't remember.
You know what? They did the Brighter Days memory erasure treatment to me, so I'm having trouble remembering the details. They're foggy.
What
do you
she's
mean by that?
referencing is her music. She's trying to reveal the truth about dyeing your hair blonde. Now, that's a callback to a Jim Carrey movie. I forgot what it's called. But in the beginning of the video, she has brown hair.
Yeah.
Theory is the blonde hair isn't them dyeing their hair blonde. It's a result of going through the procedure. When you dunk your head into the liquid, they go through the memory erasure or they go through the brainwashing. It changes the color of your hair.
What
That's
the
his
heck?
theory.
Okay, this story is really sickening and I have to issue a massive trigger warning on it before we start. And if you do choose to listen, please do so till the very end. All right, ready? This is 32-year-old Mihaela Benavides, and she is a special education teacher in Spokane, Washington, and she has been arrested for repeatedly essaying a 10-year-old student. And by repeatedly, I mean nearly every single day, multiple times a day. According to investigators, the child told police that the abuse happened in a classroom in a smaller room nearby. Sometimes he says that it happened up to 5 times in a single day. Police said that they found videos on her phone, including footage of the alleged abuse, and that she also showed the child explicit recordings of herself. And like we see so often in these cases, there was manipulation, silence, control. The child says that he was told not to tell anyone because she could get in trouble or lose her job. She also gifted him things like brownies. Now, she has been charged with child R and molestation, and she has pled not guilty. Now, stick with me for a couple more seconds. Prosecutors asked for a $750,000 bond because they said that she poses a danger to the community. The judge lowered it to $500,000. Now, it is my personal opinion that when you're using a position of power to prey on elementary school kids, that you should probably be held until trial. But again, that's my opinion. Lastly, if you haven't already, please do me a favor. In my profile, you'll see a petition to end easy plea deals for those who harm children. Please take 2 seconds. That's literally how long it takes to sign it. And of course, make sure to follow for updates.
This is known as the last photo taken of Selena before she died. The photo was taken March 30th, 1995, and she died March 31st, 1995. The photo was taken by her husband Chris's dad. Chris says that his dad was in the guest room unpacking, and when he came back out to the kitchen, he saw both Selena and Chris paying bills. They both had their checkbooks on the table. That made his dad laugh and go get his camera. Chris's dad aimed the camera at them for a picture and said, "Here, I want to get a picture of you paying your bills, being grown-ups, and being responsible." I love how you can just see Chris just staring at Selena. I love that. I'm so happy that Chris's dad was able to capture this candid photo of them just being in their house, doing adult things like paying their bills. This would be the very last picture taken of Selena alive.
After watching this video about cheetahs, you will never look at this strange animal the same way ever again. There is a lot to unpack here. For starters, did you know that cheetahs have been domesticated for thousands of years? They're widely considered one of the easiest cats to domesticate. Unlike a lion or a tiger, which many people have been eaten by after raising them from young, cheetahs are much more chill. So if you were crazy enough to have one on your countertop like this, you probably would survive. In fact, you may be more likely to be bit by certain breeds of dog. But really look at a cheetah for a second. Its head is that of a cat, but its body looks like that of a dog. But what about its paws? This is a cheetah's paw, and you may notice, or not, cheetahs are the only cat that has non-retractable claws. If you grew up with dogs and cats, you know this paw looks like a dog paw, but this is a cheetah's paw. Compare that to a greyhound, the fastest dog species. Very similar. The other crazy thing about cheetahs versus dogs is that cheetahs are susceptible to diseases that only cats are, but they're also susceptible to diseases that only dogs are. That's a greyhound. There's a cheetah. The other crazy thing is that cheetahs are genetically identical to each other, which is a very rare anomaly to happen in nature. Almost like they're clones. I mean, think about it. You have dog species, and some dog species are a little bit bigger, some a little bit smaller. It doesn't matter on the breed. It might be, there's varying genetics. With cheetahs, they're like clones. Many people are wondering if this has anything to do with potentially ancient Anunnaki genetic tinkering.
Creepy real photos that keep me up at night part 85. This photo was posted to Reddit with the caption, "My mom's goddaughter has been telling us about how she keeps feeling a presence in her apartment, and she can see a dark figure out of the corner of her eye often, especially when being alone at home." Well, she took a pic in her room, and this is what she caught. Follow for more creepy real photos.
What is going on in France? This is them happy. Hundreds of people have been arrested overnight after PSG fans took to the streets to celebrate them winning the Champions League for the second year in a row. And just like last year, the celebrations turned to violence. It turned to clashes with police, them setting fires to cars and e-bikes, smashing storefronts, and even the freaking Battle of Hogwarts. Over 22,000 police had to be deployed across France in preparation just in case they won. And many shops even boarded up their windows before the match because they knew what could happen. One of the country's right-wing leaders said, "Only in France does everyone feel compelled to lock themselves in their homes on the evening of a victory to avoid being confronted with violence." So France, I say this for your own sake. Please don't win the World Cup.
Is the answer to one of the most brutal, unsolved murders of all time Katy Perry? Is she actually murdered child pageant star JonBenet Ramsey?
Well, blink twice if you're really JonBenet Ramsey.
Wait, no.
Theorist Dave Johnson started this conspiracy because he claims he knows from sources close to the crime that JonBenet, who happens to look a lot like Katy Perry, was never murdered, and it was all a lie. The theory goes that JonBenet's parents faked her death and the ransom note because they wanted to get her away from the child pageant scene, because she already had a few known creepy men fixating on her, P-words, and people trying to take advantage of her, and wanted to use her talent and star quality when she was older. Even their parents look eerily similar if they just got older and aged a bit. How does this photo look like both of them at the same time? To throw people off her scent because Katy would insinuate that people would compare her to JonBenet when she was younger, she for some reason made it clear that she was no stage kid and JonBenet Ramsey wasn't waiting to burst out of her. They would both be in their 30s right now, and they would both primarily sing Christian music, and a lot of people say maybe they can't find the culprit to the murder because it never happened. Before I share what Katy Perry has to say about this, make sure you follow so you finally know the craziest conspiracy theories about each of these celebrities and requests you want to see next.
Blink twice if you're really JonBenet Ramsey.
Wait, no, that's not real.
I knew it. I'm taking it to TMZ.
You need the money or something? I mean, come on.
Well,
Did you guys hear that Timothy Chalamet right here just accidentally broke the world record, the Book of Genesis world record for the longest board slide? And you may be saying he's not a skateboarder. Well, he wasn't. So Timothy has been bouncing back after his Oscar losses. He went through a lot of depression. I was texting him being like, Timothy, get into your next project, immerse yourself. So he took on the role of a Latino skateboarder, and he's like, I want to method act this one. So he has been practicing. Look at it. He shows off by doing a flip turn stunt out of it too. He's like, I'm going to method act this. And so he has been practicing, and he has gotten so good so fast. This was him. He's like, I want to board slide this ledge curb that he saw on the beach. And unbeknownst to him, it's the longest board slide any skateboarder has ever done. Tony Hawk weighed in and said, my mind is blown. I've never seen someone get that good that fast. It just shows that Timothy is a great actor. Chad Muska said, who's Timothy? He's not familiar with him, but Timothy, congrats on the world record. We're excited to see this featured filmed when it's out.
Anyone remember this Jane Doe, also known as the Albuquerque Jane Doe? She has officially been identified as Becca Malico, who is an 18-year-old who died. I've wondered about this poor girl for years, and I am so glad that this case has finally been solved and that her name has finally been taken back.
He SA'd and unalived her, and then stuffed and twisted her body into a toilet bowl. 7-year-old Sheree Iverson was left unsupervised at the casino arcade
while her father was gambling. Security guards repeatedly reminded Sharice's father that it wasn't safe to leave Sharice unsupervised. Her father did not care and just continued gambling. Sharice ran into 18-year-old Jeremy Stronmeyer and playfully threw wet napkins and a "Caution Wet Floor" sign at him. Jeremy did not like that, so he followed Sharice into the women's bathroom and then lured her into the handicap stall. Jeremy took all of Sharice's clothes off and then started to SA her while covering her mouth with his hand to muffle her screams. Jeremy's friend Cash told Jeremy to stop, but when he didn't stop, Cash just left the bathroom and let Jeremy continue to SA Sharice. Jeremy strangled Sharice and then twisted her neck to make sure that he had unalived her. Jeremy then proceeded to stuff Sharice's body into a toilet bowl. A security officer found Sharice's body and then alerted Sharice's father. Jeremy told Cash that he had unalived Sharice, and then the two boys just went about their night like nothing ever happened, just like normal. Jeremy was sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences. Surprisingly, Cash was never sentenced or punished and peacefully graduated from UC Berkeley, which left the public outraged. But what do you guys think about this case?
Someone said the Smithsonian must have missed one. Look at what this person finds in this crevice while in Mitora, Greece. A giant skull that fell down who knows how long ago. And if you look, they're about 100 yards away from this crevice. So that head is estimated to be twice the size of a human skull, which is exactly how many different ancients described the size of some giants. Twice the size, some were 3 times the size, double rows of teeth. Look at this freaking thing, dude. Giant skull found in Greece. And guess what? The ancient Greeks talked all about frickin' giants. Also note, you can't really get up here. This isn't part of the tour. It's kind of a spire sticking up out of the ground. And furthermore, the person who uploaded this said that God guided their gaze to this spot. They saw it with their eyes first, and then they said, hold on a sec, zoom in. It's a freaking giant skull. And by the way, before you think, that's impossible, dude, look up the newspaper articles since the 1800s. There's been hundreds of articles about giant bones, giant skulls, everything found, boom, bang, bang, all across the United States, all across Europe, let alone the ancient texts like the Bible, and even the Quran talks about it. I'm pretty sure even the freaking Talmud mentions giants. It was common knowledge back then. Cain and Abel, you got Jack and the Beanstalk. How many fairy tales? I'm just reading fairy tales now, and I'm seeing that so many of them are talking about giants. Fairy tale. They duped us, man. People thinking giants didn't exist or weren't real, yada yada. They freaking were, but the problem is that if you find out that giants are legit, it'll make you question the official narrative of how history unfolded, and their whole charade falls down. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and follow for more. Breaking news in Finland, which you may at first think, like, this is no big deal, who cares? No, this needs to happen everywhere, dude. So Finland replaced the rubber playgrounds, the mats on the bottom, with mud and dirt, and kids got healthier within a year. What isn't mentioned in this image, though, is the study they did in Denmark, which Denmark has now banned these rubber mats because it was like soccer players or something were getting sick from the constant exposure to heavy metals, because this is like old tires, all kinds of stuff. It's a ton of heavy metals. You get it on your feet, hands, face, fingers, ends up going in your mouth. You eat something later. Total exposure to this stuff. And of course, we know that mud and dirt for kids is what builds their gut microbiome. It is what builds their whole immune system, if immune systems are even real. But we know it's good for us to be in the natural world. Synthetic rubber full of heavy metals is not natural. Alternatively, they could use natural rubber, like latex, literally straight from the tree, but that's going to cost an arm and a leg. They're not going to do that. Let's just go to the good old-fashioned mud and dirt. Now, if you know how many heavy metals and pesticides and GMOs and fluoride we're exposed to, you may think it's important to be detoxing that stuff, and you would be correct. Well, right now, Chalk is giving away free $100 bags of the organic heirloom cacao from Bolivia, the chocolate powder, which is super detoxifying and delicious. And if you combine that with the hot water purified Shilajit, you're detoxing the metals, you're boosting fertility, you're increasing brain function. I mean, this stuff is literally clinically studied to boost the production of new brain cells. It's called neurogenesis. Comment the word free below and check your DMs for details.
time of year again for the rubber fruit phenomenon, and we're not just talking about watermelon bought by Americans across the country that looks and acts like rubber.
Got a rubbery watermelon. The texture is so weird. I thought it was watermelon season.
Fruit that's acting like rubber isn't just watermelons where you buy the whole watermelon and then cut it up and realize it's not acting like watermelon should. Americans are also finding this in the pre-packaged cut up pieces of watermelon that they have to fight to tear. The rubber fruit phenomenon is not just happening to watermelons either. We're talking about avocados.
I got a rubbery avocado. Wait, I need to show this. This is insane.
Bananas that you bend in half and do not tear.
Oh, disgusting. Banana is not supposed to bend that way.
Oranges that act like a child's squishy toy. Avocados bought from grocery stores you cut into and you literally cannot tear the avocado apart. And they're even being found in restaurants. And yes, these are food items we are supposed to eat.
Saw the patch? Nah. So this is where it gets demonic. Each one of their spacesuits had a certain patch, the blue origin symbol on it, right?
Whoa.
But looking at it, it actually shows, you know, the Baphomet head, the demon, the devil head. It's on the patch. You flip it upside down, straight up, Baphomet head with the horns and the goat head. Beside it, what does it look like? Flames.
Oh my god.
What does it look like? A star. So people are saying this is some demonic, right? Yo, right when Katy Perry came out, she was holding a daisy like this.
Yeah.
And throughout the whole trip playing with like a daisy like this, like looking at it.
What does that represent?
In occult and spiritual context, daisies are often associated with innocence of children.
No.
Yeah, obviously with the Illuminati and the elites, what are they always known for? Taking advantage of innocence and children. Yo, the Baphomet, the god that eats, they sacrifice them, right? What is she holding? The symbol of that.
And this is yet another reason why you would never catch me living in Australia. And why do I say that? Because this woman right here, when she got home from grocery shopping, noticed that a tongue and a little bit of a tail was sticking out of her ceiling. So she then turned around and proceeded to take it out. As you can see what it is a gigantic python. You don't know if it's her python or just a python in general that decided to hang out in the ceiling. But I give this woman a lot of credit because you would not catch me doing that. I'd probably move out and just let the python have the place all to itself. Look at this. And the dude talking to her instead of helping, just like recording, like from a distance, I got you.
Hell no, you've never seen me doing that. You're brave. Good for you. Hell no.
Jeez, I had holding my hands like that.
Now what?
And like I said, kudos to everyone that lives in Australia because that's not happening with me. Just incredibly unbelievable. And if you're in Australia and you're watching this video, let me know if this has ever happened to you and how many times it's happened to you. And if you thought about leaving your place you live in due to this. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
New York has now seen multiple groups of men in the middle of the night entering manholes. The New York authorities have no idea what these men are doing. And in newly released footage from Viral News NYC, you can see one of those groups of men at around 1 o'clock in the morning. Help of someone driving a vehicle to block one side of the manhole as they open the manhole and have oncoming traffic come. A group of men then wave that vehicle around them and they continue to open the manhole. As you watch one man after another entering, at least 8 men from the looks of it in this group alone entering the underground sewage system in the Brooklyn area. Once the second to last man enters the manhole, it looks like the last person then gets back into the vehicle and the vehicle drives off. That being reported as the group entering the Flatbush area in Brooklyn. While miles away, another group of men the same night are entering manholes in Williamsburg. And the group of at least half a dozen men seen entering the Williamsburg location stayed underground for 2 hours before emerging after 3 o'clock in the morning. Once authorities started getting notified that over a half a dozen
unseen men in multiple locations were entering manholes, police arrived to lock down the area and figure out exactly what was going on, trying to figure out what all these men were doing. New York City officials saying they still have no clue what these men were up to. Reports are saying they haven't found a thing, leaving news outlets to say New York may actually have a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle problem on their hands.
Please tell me y'all have seen this video where this lady has an altar set up for her deceased husband on the Day of the Dead. And apparently after this video was made, the woman was never seen again, because this altar worked a little too well. Now, the Day of the Dead is a day where you celebrate lost loved ones, and you ask their spirit to come back to be with you. That's what this woman did, but it worked a little too well, because her husband come back. And at first she was fine with it. Her prayers had been answered. But then at the end of the video, she's praying to the altar for him to go back to where he came from. Because what come from it was not her husband, but something else. It looked like her husband, but with gray skin, glowing yellow eyes. She also says several times that his voice is deeper, it's different. And this is the very last shot of the video, is her husband sitting in this chair, smiling. Now, many people believe that what she summoned was not her husband at all, but a demon wearing her husband's skin. What do you guys think?
Wait, let's talk about this. They said I had the clearest dream about Nephilim rising out of the water. Okay. Ooh, this is so tea. This is so freaking tea, because let's talk about this. I really do think there is a demonic marine kingdom. I genuinely do. I think that the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim, because they drowned in the flood, maybe that is exactly where they reside. Why they're so obsessed with exploring the ocean, why there are certain parts of the ocean that we cannot get to, why Congress is literally saying that there are UAPs in the ocean. TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only. None of it is true. It is all satire. Okay, now that they're gone. Why in the world, in the Bible, when Jesus cast out those demons, they begged to go into the pigs and the pigs went into the water, right? Old news. We all knew this. But like, is that their domain? It also says in a certain part, I forgot what part of the Bible. It was like, when a demon leaves someone, or an unclean spirit leaves someone, it tries to look for rest in waterless places, but finds none, so it has to return to where it came. Low key, guys, if you think about it, if the Nephilim are the disembodied spirits, aka the demons, and they thrive in water, we are what, 70% water? Bro, it's blowing my mind. And then like bringing in the whole siren thing about how the women that procreated the fallen angels, supposedly according to the book of Enoch, that I read as history, not scripture, I do believe it happened, but according to the book of Enoch, right? These sirens are the mortal women that procreated the fallen angels, and they are cursed to the sea by God to become sirens. Like, to live there until maybe the time of judgment. I don't know. All I know is that there's something deeper going on in the water, and the fact that you said that and you had that dream is really insane to me. And even just going on to the demons thing, right? When you look at demonic possession, ask yourself two things, really. One, why in the world, a lot of the times with like sleep paralysis demons, they're so freaking tall? That's one. Is that because of the Nephilim form of them being tall? And two, why in the world, when people are possessed, right, they get super strength, which was a characteristic of the Nephilim, the giants, and their voice gets like really deep. Oh gosh. And booming, right? So why are those not characteristics of the Nephilim, guys? Are you catching what I'm putting down? It's about to get late. You guys already know, once it gets late, I start thinking. Oh, and for all of you guys asking where I got my necklace, I got it from Tilly's. Love that shop so much. Not sponsored. I don't know why I winked there, but I'm actually not sponsored. Anyway, as always, make sure you like and follow and comment down below what you think, what you want to get into.
People think the most dangerous part about a spare key is losing it. That's not even close to the real problem. Here's what most people never consider. If you ever hidden a spare key outside your home, under a mat, above a door frame, inside a fake rock, and then stop hiding it there, that key did not disappear. Someone found it. And finding it once is enough to make a copy before putting it back exactly where it was. Rule 1. If you come home and something feels slightly off, but nothing is visibly wrong, trust that feeling before you walk further inside. Slightly off means someone else was recently there, not that they're gone. Rule 2. If a door you always leave unlocked is suddenly locked from the inside, do not assume you locked it and forgot. You can lock a door from the inside and be on the outside. Someone is doing you that favor from the other side. Here's the part that changes how you see your own home. Most people who discover someone has been inside never catch them in an act. They notice small things days later. A chair moved a few inches, a window unlocked that was locked Food missing that they assume they ate. Rule 3. If your dog reacts differently to a specific room than it used to, that room has a new smell. Recent use, a new human. The spirit key you forgot 3 years ago never forgot about you. And whoever found it has been deciding what to do with that information ever since.
Did you hear what they found in the asteroid hole crater from this comet? It's going to blow your mind. So last week, this asteroidage went over the United States, and they knew that it impacted Earth, but they didn't know exactly where it hit. Well, Dr. Remy Demi did the calculation on the circle radius circumference point ends, and he was able to determine exactly where he think it landed. He went and he said spot on, massive crater. But what was crazy is he said that this asteroidage was not only full of like a gold element 115. He said it was like golden color and stabilized. He said they've never seen an element 115 stabilized on Earth. He also said that there was some biologics on there. And I'm like, what do you mean biologics? Like cell life? And he said, I don't want to say too much yet, but I will, I'll let you first know and you can tell people what we find. But he said there was some type of biologics on this comment. I'm curious what you think about it. I'll let you know as soon as I know more.
Something's not right with Katy Perry. Y'all, what'd they do to her? Watch her face. Something ain't right, y'all. Stay weird. Thanks for watching.
This girl is proof that a lot of rock stars are pedophiles. And this is extremely sad. So this is Lori Maddox. And as Wikipedia states, she's a former child model and a baby groupie of the 1970s. So when she was only 13 years old, Lori started frequenting clubs in West Hollywood like the Whiskey A Go-Go. And in June of 1972, when she was only 13 years old, Lori was, as she claims, kidnapped. Lori had been kidnapped by Led Zeppelin's tour manager, a man named Richard Cole. Lori was then brought to Led Zeppelin guitar player Jimmy Page's room and basically kept there. Basically, Jimmy, who was 28 years old at the time, told Lori that he said he'd have her, so it's time to have her. And that started off their relationship. Jimmy reportedly kept this secret because he knew that it was wrong. It was statutory rape. He was 28 years old and she was only 13. And he went to great lengths to make sure that nobody would see him and Lori out in public. This included keeping her in secluded rooms where no one could see the two together. But their relationship is extremely well documented, and yes, this makes Jimmy Page a pedophile. But Jimmy wasn't the only adult that Lori was involved with while she was a minor. According to Lori, she actually lost her virginity to David Bowie. Yes, once again while she was a teenager. And she also claimed to have slept with Mick Jagger when she was only 17. Now, the photos of Lori Maddox are extremely sad and disturbing, especially when you realize that all the men in these pictures are very old, 28, 30, 32. And in these photos, Lori is literally a teenage girl. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, and it really perplexes me as to why people don't talk about this more. Like, nowadays, there's a massive discussion, a reckoning of things that have happened in the past. And yet with a lot of these classic rockers who had established relationships with minors, many of them physical in nature, they seem to just get glossed over. Now, Lori Maddox in her adult years actually came out and said that she couldn't wish this fate on her daughter. Here's a quote from her. She said, "I don't think underage girls should sleep with guys. I wouldn't want this for anybody's daughter. My perspective is changing as I get older and more cynical." So who knows at the end of the day exactly what all happened to Lori Maddox and who did what with her. But this story is extremely sad and disturbing and really makes you wonder how many of these old classic rock people did stuff like this. And what stories and things that they've done will never come to light because they've been hidden so well. If you want to listen to more true crime stories, listen to the podcast Murder in America that I co-host with my wife Courtney. It's available on all streaming platforms.
Elon Musk said no one will need a job because there will be universal high income. Okay, he said universal, not national. So that sounds like the New World Order. That really does sound like the New World Order. And you know who the only countries that we are invading right now happen to be the only countries that refuse to join the central banking system. So, I really would not like to eat crickets for the rest of my life as a luxury meal because I didn't say anything bad about, I just feel like, can we do something? Or are we all just going to be Zionists and pretend that this is prophetic? Because it's not prophetic. This is insane. Anyways, this is my driver. You think I don't have to get a job. I'll have money. No. It's not going to be that easy. Why would it be that easy? After years of the lack of health care, the lack of minimum wage going up, why would it suddenly be easy? Why would it suddenly be nice? Come on.
Creepy real photos that keep me up at night part 95. This photo was sent to me by a viewer. They said, I took this photo in 2014 at the Washoe Club in Nevada. It was a Monday afternoon, and the only people in the place were myself, a friend, and the bartender. While my friend was talking to the bartender, I wandered towards the back near their self-guided museum. I was standing in front of a mirror, taking a selfie in front of their famous staircase. I took 3 photos, and 2 were just me, but the third one has someone or something standing directly behind my right ear. I didn't notice until after I'd gone back to the bar and my friend pointed it out. The town is extremely haunted, and I've had all kinds of experiences working up there, but this is the only photo I've ever taken with something so eerie and unsettling. You can see my pupils. Whatever it is has big black holes for eye sockets. Follow for more creepy real photos.
Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers said he's been haunted by the Hat Man since his first ayahuasca trip in Peru, and he's not the only one. Thousands of people around the world have reported seeing a shadowy figure in a hat standing in their room while they're sleeping. In an interview in August of 2022, Aaron Rodgers said, "The Hat Man sometimes appears in the distance, staring at me, usually holding a rabbit and a blade, just looking." Many claim that this was taken out of context and meant to be satire. But either way, it's really creepy because so many people have reported similar encounters with the Hat Man.
These YouTubers got stuck on Epstein's island overnight, and it was genuinely terrifying. They actually kayaked to the island during a hurricane, since they knew that security had been evacuated. Inside one of the buildings, they found plates that were obviously meant for children to use, along with child-sized chairs. They also found a statue that resembled a tortured woman. They even peeked inside of the temple to see what the inside really looks like. Because of the weather conditions, they had no other choice but to camp overnight on the island. So they decided to explore as much as they could before the waterway opened back up at 6 a.m. 2 of the people in their group were so weirded out from the energy on the island that they actually left in the middle of the night and almost died along the way. The waves were so violent because of the hurricane that it caused them to flip over in their kayaks. The tide took the kayaks with them, but thankfully they washed up on the shore of Great St. James with only a concussion. My favorite part, though, is when the group hung up a flag that read, "Release the files," before eventually being chased off the island by security.
Yes, pirates exist.
This area is known for piracy threats as reported in the world media. Therefore, we will be operating at a heightened level of security.
Y'all, okay, so if you would have told me a couple years ago that pirates still exist, I would have been like, girl, what are you talking about? Yeah, they do. They exist, and they're waiting for you on cruise ships. Y'all know I've been doing this whole, the ocean is terrifying series, yada, yada, yay. We're not just talking about sirens anymore. We're talking about real life pirates that are out there. And in the last video I did, people were like, oh, it's like one dude on a boat. What's wrong? No, there are a lot of times when you see one pirate ship, there's more on other areas of the boat. They're already climbing up, trying to get into the boat and hijack the boat. For educational purposes only, TikTok, please. The things that they will do to people on that ship, put this into perspective. Even if, let's just say it was only 10 pirates and it's a whole cruise ship, right? Even if it's 10 people that get on that ship, what are they doing to people when they get on there? A lot of the times they start off very quietly. You're not aware until it's either too late or there's a big commotion going on. They are R-wording people. They unalive people. The whole intent is to hijack the ship, a lot of times for ransom, a lot of times for goods, a lot of times just for pillaging. Some people say, now listen, I haven't done a whole bunch of research on the subject of pirates. Some people say that they're just protecting their coastline. A lot of times this is off the coast of Somalia and stuff. It's other areas, I think Southeast Asia. maybe. But this happens over there a lot. So when cruise ships cross into that area, they will make that announcement saying, hey, this place is known for pirates, so we have to operate at a higher level of security. Here's my thing. I don't understand what R-wording women and like unaliving people has to do with protecting your coastline. Because like a cruise ship, what is a cruise ship going to do to you? I don't know. Y'all tell me what you think in the comments. I'm open to like, talking about it, but I just don't see how, like, you know what I mean? Yes, pirates are very much real. And mind you guys, this is very rare. This is not like I've been on multiple cruises. This is not a consistent thing that happens all the time, but it has happened. There's documented evidence of this happening. Like, it has happened. So yeah, I'm gonna leave y'all with that because I had to make another video. You guys were asking me to make another video clarifying, like, are pirates real? Pirates are very much real in 2026. As always, make sure you like and follow and comment down below.